Welcome to the Spotlight Series. I'm your host, Scott Nerney, live, Quiz It In on Tuesday night. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. This is important information that someone you may know today or in the future could use. I'm here with Rocco and Bam Bam from Protectors of the Children. Welcome to the Spotlight Series, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Give us a little background of yourselves.
I am Bam Bam. I'm president of Protectors of the Children. I've been in this line of work for roughly 9 years. It's very rewarding in its own aspect. I love what I do, and I want to keep doing what I do.
Rocker?
I'm Rocker. I'm a child liaison for the Rhode Island chapter. I've been involved with this chapter for about 6 years now. Like I said, it's a very rewarding experience to help these children and to know we're making a difference in their lives and bring them some peace and let them be able to not live in fear of the world they live in.
So, gentlemen, give us a little high level. We're going to talk about specifics, but give us a high level of what your organization does.
What we do is we help abused children. Abused children can range from physically, sexually, mentally, any aspect of abuse. And basically we specialize in a certain kind of children where they're living in fear. They have to be a documented case where they're going to court, because that's one of the services that we supply is when the child's living in fear, it's our job to get them to the point where they're no longer living in fear.
And how is that accomplished? It's not just giving social work and things that some of the state agencies do.
No.
So in order for us to do our jobs, we need to form a certain relationship with these children, with the guardians. We have to build a special bond with them. We have to be down on their level, and we have to bring them to the point where they know that we're the people that they can count on. They can call us 24 hours a day, anytime that they may be in fear. They can call us and we'll be there for them. And we want them to realize that no matter what, once they're part of our family, they're always going to be our priority.
So let's talk a little bit about how it happens, and we're going to give the hotline out towards the end of the interview, but let's talk a little bit about a guardian gets involved and finds out about your organization and contacts your organization. How does that all happen?
So what happens is when a child is put in a situation, they're referred to us, either be from seeing us or from an agency. We work with state agencies. What they're given is they're given a hotline number. What they do is they call the hotline number and they get a hold of the child liaison. The child liaison will then take information from them, making sure the child is in fear, making sure that it's a documented case, and it's something that we can help. After that's done, he determines if it's something that we can help the child with or not. Once it's determined that we can help the child, what he does then is he'll set up an initial visit. During that initial visit, it's where we find out if the child is actually truly in fear, and where we determine if it's something that we can really actually help the child. From that point in time, once it's determined that the child is in fear and does need our services, we take it to a different level where the whole chapter gets involved, and that's where we go and bring the child into our chapter. So that way they become part of us. They're part of us and they get that service.
How many members are in the chapter?
13.
So they're finding a lot of big brothers to try to talk to and explain what they're concerned about. And talk a little bit about, when you say they're in fear, what types of things could encourage that fear, unfortunately?
Most children are in fear for the individual or the perp that actually hurt them. They can also be in fear in the environment that they live in because of what happened to them in that environment. So that's where we play a factor is basically it's to try to get the child to be a child. So that way they don't live in that fear where they can be a child.
And one of the big things that your organization heads towards, I don't want to say an absolute conclusion, but one of the big stepping points is the court case. And when we know the prosecutors and the social services will do a good job to try to prep the child for that court case, but it's still the fear of driving up to that building. Like on the way here, you see the building on the barbed wire. A kid can't not see that. And big, huge, intimidating building.
It's very scary.
How do you work with the child at that point before they're going to take the stand?
So at the last level where the whole chapter is brought into, they're given 2 individuals that they can contact 24/7. Doesn't matter. They can call them at any point in time. And what those 2 individuals do is they'll build a bond with that child, basically, so that way the child feels comfortable around them. And in that point in time, what happens is when it comes time for the child to go to court, they will actually go to court with them. So that way when they go to court, they feel safe because they have 13 of us that they feel safe around, but they have 2 special ones. And at that point in time, when we take them to court, we go into court with them. They do not go in and face that by themselves. They're with us. We protect them in the court. We surround them so nobody can get to them, so nobody can harass them. The perp is off. The perp can be standing in the same hallway at time to time in court because that's just how courts are.
Right.
So we pull the child away from that environment. It's all about the child.
What we'll do is we will bring that child anywhere they need to go with the chapter around her. As that child walks from one area of the courtroom or has to go into the courtroom, we will surround that child. So the only thing they are going to see is us. We are that main focal point for them, and hopefully our goal is to bring them in there, let them do what they need to do, and still know we're there for them.
And talk a little bit about a child that may make that 24/7 call, and to hear a motorcycle pull up out front at 2 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon. How does that? How do you see the change in the child?
We've had children in the past that just the thought of hearing a motorcycle makes them feel safe. So it could not even be us riding down the road. Just the hearing of the motorcycle makes them feel safe. But they know when we're coming because we make a presence for them.
And imagine some of the perpetrators out there also have that similar feeling, knowing that when they hear a motorcycle, think twice during their court time before they may be convicted, that you don't know who that is that's coming by.
We hope so.
And
Yes,
constant reminder.
absolutely. We stand to protect the child.
Tell us a little bit about the feedback that you get from some of the kids that you've been in the program for a while, or guardians that have reached out to you and seen the difference.
These kids become, it's not the focus for these kids to become a part of your life, but these kids become a part of your life because you feel so special, so attached to these kids. I mean, they become a part of your life. Even though it's not supposed to be that way, it happens. They're kids. They need protection. Sometimes we're the only individuals that these kids have. Mm-hmm. And you form that special bond. It's going to happen. You can't stop it. It's going to happen.
And we talked earlier in the green room before we came out that you said a lot of the interactions with the perpetrators are someone they trusted, and they have to earn trust again with you guys. That's a lot of work for you.
It is that because it's very well known that most kids are abused by somebody they trust. And so that in turn makes the child, it's hard for them to trust somebody. You know, I mean, and then sometimes these poor kids, they get yanked out of their homes, they get taken to different places. They never know where they're going to end up. And that's very hard for them.
One of the things that I know you guys do a lot of is trying to fundraise to support all these activities. So talk a little bit about the fundraising. We'll put some information in our story as well. Talk about future events, and we'll keep tabs on things you're going to be doing. But talk about how people can help you from that aspect and what you use the funds for.
We are a 501(c). All the money that we raise goes back to the kids. All the money we raise is spent on Rhode Island kids. Basically, if they have a need, we fund it. If we need to put them someplace safe, we fund it. So all the money that we raise really goes back to all the kids. Nobody gets paid here, nobody collects anything. We're all 100% volunteers. We do this because we want to help kids. So all the funds that we raise goes all back to the kids. Because, I mean, you never know what these kids need. Christmas time, we do Christmas parties, we do summer parties. So, I mean, we try, and the advantage of the parties is the kids get together and they see that they're not the only one walking around in the world in this way. So, I mean, we try to help the kids as much as possible.
Rocco, you were talking earlier before we started taping about, you know, having to bring kids out of their home or foster facility or wherever they may be staying, even to a hotel or transportation with some of the money from the fundraising from the nonprofit.
Yeah, we are, like I said, you know, our goal is to make sure these children are safe. So if that means we need to escort them from the courthouse to a hotel room, from a hotel room to another facility, we want to make sure they have the transportation, they have the means, they have a roof over their head to make sure that they're safe. We will supply their meals for as long as they need us. And all of this, obviously, you know, it costs money, and all of the money that we raise from any of our fundraising goes completely to these kids for that specific reason.
So folks, if you're out there and you think you may know someone, a child in need, or know of someone who's talked about a situation where there's domestic abuse and it's heading towards the court system and it's documented, you want to get a hold of these gentlemen, I can give you a hotline. It's 401-487-1760. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week. If you have to leave a message and they're on with someone else, they'll call you right back. And they want to be involved and protect your children and make sure that everything that you're doing is in a safe way. Gentlemen, I appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you
making
for
a
the
difference.
opportunity.
Over 160 kids that you've been involved with. Many more to come, unfortunately, but you know, that's 160 kids that have gone through a horrible situation that you've made better, and they're better people for it now. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.